make some veggie fritters. So I got some chopped up corn, onions, green beans, peppers, a bunch of grated zucchini, and the beautiful chunk of Maitake mushroom. So I'm going to chef this all up into some little veggie fritters, season it up with some tandoori seasoning, maybe a little Aleppo pepper, and I'll do sort of a mixture of, this is chickpea flour and cornmeal and AP flour and a bunch of herbs, and make it real tasty. Might mix in an egg too, just to kind of get everything, solidified up. But let's put this together and fry off some fritters and just make a nice little wholesome meal for myself. Okay, so getting my stuff arranged on the board here. So I think I'll put in my dry mixture first, which means putting in all kind of the starches and stuff I'm working with. Oops, there goes the spoon. That's all right, I'll get that. So I don't feel like measuring anything. I'm going to cook by intuition, which is how I cook most of the time. And when you cook, you really can't do that. You don't need to measure anything. You can just kind of make it look right, and it'll taste right. So I'm going to roughly try to do about 1/3 chickpea flour here. Stuff has more protein, more flavor than normal flour, but it doesn't bind quite as well. But it works great for veggie fritters, something like this. This is loosely inspired by like a pakora, Indian fried veg kind of thing. So here's just some normal yellow cornmeal. And I'm going to add a little bit of that because it'll add extra crunch and flavor that doesn't come from the garbanzo or the flour. And just got some normal AP flour here. Just kind of loosely put about, I don't know, palmful in there. So if I need more binding power once I get all the vegetables in here, which I might, I can do that by just sprinkling in more stuff. Seasoning wise, I'm going to add a good amount of porcini powder right now. So nice big old handful of porcini powder. Do a pretty big sort of pinch of this tandoori seasoning. So that's got, let's see what's in here. It smells good. Coriander, cumin, garlic, turmeric, onion, chili powder, black pepper, cloves, paprika, cinnamon, and nutmeg. So yeah, all the good stuff, all the spices up in this. I'm gonna spice it super hard. Put a ton of seasoning in to make sure it really tastes the way I want it to taste. Put in a pretty healthy amount of Aleppo pepper too, because I really like that as a pepper. Got sort of a subtle smoky sweetness and a good amount of heat. So let's see, I'll get this working here. Get it all combined. Oh, flour. Salt. We have flour, but we are going to need a good amount of salt here. So a nice big pinch in there. I'm going to be seasoning up a whole bunch of vegetables and other good stuff that's going to go in here. So right now I'm going to switch from using my hand to using a whisk because we're going to get this wet. I don't really want to get my hand all goopy. So, whoop, there we go. Didn't mean to do that quite so violently, but it was effective. Smashed the egg, added the egg. Done. I'm gonna sort of get some water here and add some water. There's, I don't know, roughly a cup of water here. Get that incorporated, see how it looks. We want a semi-loose, but also relatively thick batter, because the veggies will kind of release their own liquid a little bit here. Okay, it's a nice looking thick batter. I'll add the rest of that water. And I'm going to start incorporating all my vegetables here. There we go. Okay. So, got a nice thick batter here. It's really yellow from all the, like, pretty sure there's turmeric in that tandoori seasoning. Excellent. So I'm going to toss in my zucchini here. And that's pretty wet, so I'm counting on this bringing more moisture to the party. I salted it a little bit and let it sit for a while, so I did drain out some moisture, but it's still pretty wet stuff. So this forms kind of the basis of these little fritters and patties, is the shredded zucchini. It's a great thing to do with the zucchini. It's a little too big, and started getting hard seeds in it. So, got all that. We're gonna dump in our onion. That's 1 red onion and 1 shallot. So I did both to add a little bit of that sweetness. Here's 2 things of white corn. I'm gonna really just stir this, get it all incorporated. And see how our batter to vegetable ratio is. I did want this to be pretty wholesome. So, stirring this up. Get everything incorporated. Excellent. That is looking great. Okay. So I'll toss in beans and the peppers, and this is just going to bring even more good flavor to the party. And of course, we're going to add some mushrooms. You know, that's why we're here. But I just wanted to get all the vegetables kind of in there first. See what it looked like before I mess around with the texture too much. Yeah, that's looking pretty much how I want it. All right, I'm gonna add just a little bit more of my flours here. So there's one more shake of the, this is chickpea flour, is what it is. And that's what you use to make pakora, sort of Indian fried vegetables. Here's a little bit of cornmeal because I like the texture. And this stuff will dry it out just a bit, but that's okay because we'll add just a tiny bit more water. Make sure the whole thing's kind of liquid and moving like a batter should be. Here's one more little splash AP flour. And this is all just adding a little extra oomph to this too, because vegetables don't have a whole lot of their own, you know, they have a lot of flavor and texture to bring to the party, but sustenance is kind of a thing. When you cook a bunch of veggies, sometimes you're so hungry. So adding the flours here is a way to up the substantial amount of this meal. I'm also now going to put in a whole bunch of herbs. I have this beautiful cilantro, preserved lemon, garlic, onion kind of salsa type thing I made. And I'm just going to take a couple of spoonfuls of that and mix that into. That has tons of good herb flavor, and I need to use it up. So I'll put that in and offset some of the cilantro flavor, because I know that can be kind of a strong flavor. I'm going to put in a bunch of parsley too. First, I'm getting a little bit of water here. So I'm just going to dump in some more water. This is a very forgiving kind of dish. You know, I don't want to super over mix it, but for the most part, it's not a big deal to kind of stir it around and get everything nicely coated and incorporated here. And put in just a tiny bit more salt. There we go. Excellent. Okay. So, and take this beautiful little chunk of maitake. I want to break it in kind of big pieces. This is part of why I was waiting to add it, because I didn't want to stir it around too much and break it up. I like having the big pieces of maitake kind of shooting through the whole dish. Hoping each cake will kind of get one long spear of the maitake mushroom. Get a nice sear on it, maybe. You know, everything, all the other veg I kind of want to just like cook through the mushroom. Could have even laid the mixture down on the mushroom. I was thinking about doing that, but it seemed unnecessarily fiddly, and I just want to eat something. I don't want to. I don't need to style food right now. I just want to make dinner. So there we go. I was streaming earlier on TikTok, which I do more often, but the connection was atrocious. I think it's Comcast's fault, and I decided to try a stream here on YouTube, even though no one watches. But you know, it'll upload afterwards, and so someone could watch. In theory. Knife. There we go. Get my parsley a little wash here. Okay, this is getting to a point where I can imagine starting to cook pretty soon, so just turn on my stove there. I'm just cutting up most of this head of parsley because I need to use it. And I like parsley. Not totally sure how the parsley herb vibe is going to go with cilantro and the kind of like Indian chutney-ish tandoori vibes going on here, but we're gonna check it out. We're gonna see how it all tastes. Usually, if you put a whole bunch of vegetables and herbs and other things in something like this, it's gonna taste great, regardless of what flavoring agents you use. I was thinking about maybe doing like a caper and parsley and lemon kind of thing for this, but I just like the way that Indian spices play with these fresh vegetables, and you know, and make these kind of fritter cake things. They're really, really good. So there's room for all sorts of flavors when you do something like this yourself. Usually I'll put some kind of yogurt sauce with them, sizzling like hot sauce and some kind of yogurt sauce, and that's real good. So I might mix some garlic and mint into some yogurt once I get these cooked up and serve that alongside. Could also do like sour cream, which I might treat myself tonight because that sounds pretty good. Okay. Getting everything all stirred up and incorporated here. So I get a pretty good sized batch of this stuff. And cook it off in a nice big cast iron pan. Probably do a bunch of batches. Oop, sorry, there you go. Okay. Sorry, I have a slightly askew view there. My streaming setup is finicky about how I do this. So anyhow, here's your stuff. We're gonna go cook it. It's gonna be great. I got a cast iron over sort of medium-high heat here, and I'm just waiting for it to fully come to temp. Let's just try like a little bit of this. See where my seasoning mix is at. See if I want to add anything. Pretty nice curry flavor. Good herb flavor. Oh, the salt's pretty good. Spice is nice. Could use like a little bit more richness, I think, but I think that'll come from, like I said, some sour cream or something at the end. I'm gonna put just a little bit of MSG in, just because, God particle. Hit this with a good amount of garlic powder too, just because garlic powder makes everything better, right? That smells great. Okay, I'm gonna get my skillet loaded up with some oil, and we're gonna get cooking. Hi, Tiger Paw. Got it. All right, here you go. There's a hot pan. Ooh. Let's turn that down a bit. All right. Ooh, that's a big one. Make some smaller ones. Okay, a little more oil there. We want these to fry. They're all vegetable. There's pretty much no fat in them other than the one egg I put in. So, hang on. The lens looks a little greasy there. There we go. Better. Make sure that whole thing's still sliding around and starting to firm up there a little bit. Get a couple wayward pieces of corn. Just toss those up here, get them set on the other side. smaller pieces cook better, faster. Big piece, too big. Just didn't know how much was really in my little spoonful thing there. Just going to turn these little ones around. The center of the pan is quite a bit hotter. So make sure everything gets cooked evenly. There we go. Nice and brown looking. Most excellent. This big one, still not convinced it won't fall apart when I flip it, so just giving it a second or two more. See if I can get the core of it kind of cooked. Should be easier to handle. Okay, that side looks really raw still, so I want to give that some time. These smaller pieces look great. They're getting done just right. I'm going to need somewhere to put these when they come off the hot pan. There we go. That's looking good. These smell great. So I got myself a tray here, wire rack, lined with paper towels. I'm ready to pull them off when they're done. Turn the smaller ones because they're easy to turn over. The big one is just harder to move, so I'm just leaving it be. Still looks pretty good. This would make an excellent veggie burger, you know? In the middle of a couple of patties with some cheese or vegan yogurt or something like that. It'd be wonderful. Put more mushrooms in if you want more protein. Crumble in some soy if you want to make it, you know, even higher in protein. Put in black beans. You can do anything you want with something like this. Just squeezing this down. Oh! Woohoo! Wow! Oh my god. I think I had a corn kernel that popped there. Fortunately, it didn't actually, it nailed me, but didn't hit my skin. Ooh! Okay, corn is getting too hot. We literally are popping corn. That's what happened. It popped some kernels of corn, and it made a huge, huge noise. It screamed like a little girl. Goodness gracious. There's evidence of popped corn. Fresh popped corn. Wild. Okay. I don't know if I've seen that happen before, but it just happened, so I believe it. Okay, I'm going to pull this big one off. And we're getting more popcorn here. Alright. Clean up. Ooh! Okay. I just caught a corn kernel in the chin. So I'm going to get these out of the pan before they nail me in the face anymore. Jeez. Projectiles. Alright. So I'm going to put in a good amount of oil here. This pan is smoking hot. We're going to do some more smallish patties here. Then get 4 of them in. Side's going to need a little more oil. I'm going to come in here and make sure these are separate. There we go. Oh no! Get my patty glued back together there. Pleasant little crackle here as they fry away. Take a quick peek at this one. I think it's getting ready to go over. Try to avoid the popping corn situation again here, but I think it's gonna happen again, and I'm just gonna put on some safety glasses so I don't get hot corn in the eye. Stay behind the camera, protect myself. So anyhow, it's got maitake mushrooms in it. It's gonna cook up real nice. A very wholesome dinner kind of thing, and I can eat these all week. So. Woo! There goes more flying corn. Alright. I guess the corn kind of tells me when these things are done, right? I can tell when it's hot enough the corn kernels are exploding. They're probably ready to come out. Just make a little sauce on the side here. I had this peri peri pepper and sun-dried tomato sauce with a bunch of curry in it, and I just mixed in some mayonnaise too, make it a little creamy, a little rich. And I'll put that on top of these fritters when they come out. But put some lemon juice in there too for a little extra acid, something to help cut through the kind of fried veggie stuff that we got going on here. Switch these places for just a second. Alright, close enough. These are starting to become hazardous. More exploding corn. Alright. Okay, we're going to hit this with some more oil and come back down with more fritters. Alright, so that's what they look like when they're done here. I've been giving them just a little sprinkle of salt, just when they come off. And they're really freaking good. You know? Nice veggie patty here. Lots of green goodness in there. Fresh corn, onions, shallot, Maitake mushroom. It's got the tandoori seasoning in there. Makes it kind of yellow. Nice little like faint hint of curry flavor. Lots of salt and porcini powder. So a lot of really delicious things going on in these fritters. Pretty easy to do something like this at home with whatever you have on hand. I do these a lot in the summer. They're an excellent meal to make for yourself or for company. Give those a little bit more time to kind of solidify, cook towards the center, and I'll flip them. Try to kind of rotate them in the pan towards the center where it's hotter. So both the outside, like all edges, and the inside get cooked before I flip them. It's kind of important. You want that nice even browning all over, you know? And these are a little bit thicker than some of the smaller ones I was doing too, so I'm gonna give them just a hint more time. I'm looking for that little bit of crispiness around the edge. Like, see that edge right there tells me it's good to flip. And this one in general is a little thinner, so I think it might be ready. Yeah, that one was ready. This one, yeah, that one could be ready. And this one, could have gone a second longer, but it's pretty good. So I'm gonna add just a tiny bit more oil here. Don't be afraid of the oil here, it just makes them better. Hey, Ken. Yeah, nice sizzle. Doing veggie patties. Here, they're mostly grated zucchini, but a bunch of corn and red onion and shallots, and some maitake mushroom and green beans and peppers, with a mixture of chickpea flour and all-purpose flour and cornmeal, and like an egg, and a whole bunch of kind of tandoori seasoning, porcini powder, and garlic powder, salt. Just kind of brought that all together, and I've been frying them up as patties, and they're looking pretty good. I'm about to pull these out and be done. So if you guys want to hang around just a second, you'll see me eat one of these. And get you the notes on how they taste and the texture and all that stuff. So I made a little, I could still go a second more. I made myself a little dipping sauce here with sun-dried tomato peri curry sauce kind of thing that I made. Think of it like very, very fancy ketchup mixed with QP mayonnaise. So, yeah, should be a pretty good combo. Alright. I'm going to pull these off here. Give them a second more. Just on the other side. It's kind of stuff, you know, the vegetables are pretty easy to cook through. I just like to cook them till they're really nice and crispy. That's kind of my big thing. Alright, pull these off. Pop them on our rack here. I'm going to go in just one more batch. You don't have to watch me cook these, but I'm going to just get them done. Shoo. And as promised, I'm about to do a taste test, so hang on one sec. I just got to get this while the pan's nice and hot here. Good amount of oil. Woo! It's really spitting, huh? Okay. Okay, we'll let those rock. We're gonna go try one of these. Let's give it a go. So I'll break this open. Ooh, yeah, look at that nice cross section. Got all the beautiful veggies and the herbs. All sorts of goodness in here. Maitake mushroom, add some texture. Nice little dip bit there. Sweetness and pop and crunch from the corn. Nice background veg flavor from the green beans and the peppers. Really nice, soft, cooked, crunchy zucchini. And that beautiful hint of kind of curry spice transfusing the whole thing with a super savory, creamy dipping sauce. Yeah. Yeah, that works. Wow. Yummy. Holy cow. Well, these are delicious. I highly recommend you make something like this this summer when you've got a lot of vegetables around. It's a great way to use up mushrooms and anything out of your garden. So think about making yourself some veggie fritters. Yum. Well, When you eat food that has this many vegetables in it, it's okay to have seconds, or maybe have a second dinner. So consider that. All right, I'm gonna sign off, but it was wonderful to stream. Thanks, Ken, for tuning in. Thanks for anyone else who hung out and watched me cook. See you later. Bye.